everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the best loadout to be using in Hyper Scape right now. There's a reason why I haven't done this video yet, and that's because I wanted to give every loadout a chance and I wanted to test every weapon in this game before doing a best loadout video. The best loadout doesn't necessarily mean the two best guns in the game. The best loadout means the two weapons that work best together, and I think I've found a clear winner. If you enjoyed today's video and you're feeling kind, be sure to scroll down, click the like button. Let's try and reach 500 likes on today's video. And if you're not subscribed, be sure to do that as well down below so you don't miss out on any future uploads on the channel. So this video is going to be focusing on your gun loadout, but I might be doing a video in the future on hacks and the best hacks to be using depending on your playstyle. So be sure to look out for that. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Hexfire and the Skybreaker because these two make an awesome combination. Now, as I said, I've been doing a lot of testing with various weapons. I don't see any other combination being better than the Hexfire and the Skybreaker, but you need to know how to use this combination in order to abuse it. The maximum damage the Skybreaker can do when it's fully fused is just over 60 damage, which is more than half the health an enemy has. And the Hexfire, as we all know, is right now very broken, especially on consoles. You very rarely have to reload the Hexfire. So the fact that you can deal a chunk of damage out of enemies with the Skybreaker and then switch over to the Hexfire, which you don't have to reload or likely won't be reloading during that gunfight, just makes this combination the deadliest combination in the game. Whether you're a bad player that's just starting out or whether you're a very good player, this combination is something that everybody can use. And let's talk about some tips on how to abuse it. So you always want to be starting off with the Skybreaker when going into gunfights because your aim is to deal that chunk of damage into enemies before switching over to your Hexfire. There is a lot of travel time when using the Skybreaker. When you're at them close ranges, the travel time doesn't matter that much, but if enemies are moving in one way, then you want to focus on that travel time and aim slightly in front of where the enemy is going, and you can deal 40, 50, even 60 plus damage. Now, once the blast has left the Skybreaker, that's when you want to immediately switch over to your Hexfire. Now, in some cases, you can switch so fast over to your Hexfire and start dealing damage into the enemy from the Hexfire before the blast has even landed on the enemy. So can you imagine shooting the Skybreaker, switching over to your Hexfire, already laying damage with the Hexfire, and then the blast lands whilst you're shooting with the Hexfire? The person on the receiving end just might as well install the game. So there are main two steps in order to abuse this loadout. The first one is to line up your Skybreaker shot as perfectly as possible to deal the most damage possible. And the second step is switching over to your Hexfire once the blast has left the Skybreaker. This is the important part, and this is going to determine how deadly you're going to make this combination. A lot of people wait for the blast to hit the ground and then switch over to their Hexfire. And then the second step is to track the enemy as much as possible with the Hexfire, and you're likely going to down them before having to reload your gun. This Hexfire is quite overpowered, especially on console. Bearing in mind, it's very hard to aim due to the high aim acceleration. But you know the saying, if you can't beat them, join them. Is that the saying? I'm pretty sure that's the saying, right? If you can't beat them, join them. Well, this is the case, specifically on console as well. Now, another tip I want to give specifically with the Skybreaker is you want to use a movement based ability that can get you up in the air, because it's much easier shooting vertically down with the Skybreaker than shooting very horizontal, because you have to line up your shot more. If not, your Skybreaker shot could be going further outwards to where the enemy's located, whereas if you're shooting straight down, it's much easier to land as close to the enemy as possible. Take a look at this example here.
20 squads ready.
As you can see here, I gave myself a free shot at the enemy by teleporting up in the air, and this is your goal as well. You want to be joining the gunfight after you've taken the Skybreaker shot. So by the time the enemy's located where you are, you should already have your Hexfire out and firing at the enemy. This is the goal here, and I've just been abusing this loadout for the last few weeks. It is an amazing loadout. It's so much fun, and I just had to make a video on this because this loadout is pretty stupid right now, I'm not gonna lie. If you haven't got much experience with the Skybreaker, I recommend you jump into training and you get used to it. It can be quite a hard weapon to master, bearing in mind it's got a very slow travel time, but once you master it, it can be so much fun to use. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. I wanted to bring you a best loadout video. I truly believe this is the best loadout in the game. If you disagree with me, be sure to let me know down below what you think is the current best loadout. I'll be really interested in reading all of your comments, but nonetheless, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, I'll catch all of you guys out in another brand new Hyper Scape video.